Okay, Bezat Hashem. Welcome back. Yeah, we're back to our. We're on vacation for a week, so we're on page 191. Yeah, it says, "For the sake of peace, Hashem is willing to forego His honor, even though the whole world was created only for His honor, meaning for Hashem's honor, as it says in Isaiah, everything which is called by my name and for my honor I created, formed it, and made it." Hashem wants us to know that His greatest honor is a couple's peaceful marriage. Meaning, even though everything was made in honor of Hashem, He says, Shalom Bayit takes over. Yeah, He says, even though Hashem forgoes His honor to make peace between a man and his wife, this way His honor is actually increased. This is an expression of Hashem's magnificent humility, which makes us love and respect Him all the more so. Huh? Yeah. He says, we learn an essential principle from this, namely, that when we concede something to make peace, we never lose but only gain. Meaning, he says a lot of times, we're right. Yeah, and when we prove the fact that we're right, we actually lose. Why? There's a machloket, right? There's no peace between us. Why? Because you want to prove you're right. He says, no. You actually gain when you have peace. You hear, even in Hashem's world, we could say, right? He forgoes His honor. How? We erase the name from the parchment. Yeah, during the time of the Sotah. Erase His name, which we're not allowed to do. He says, no, do it. Why? In order to have peace. The benefit of maintaining peace are twofold. You obtain peace, the vessel for all blessings, and you also often preserve whatever you were willing to concede. But if a person is abstinent and unwilling to concede something for the sake of peace, his loss will be doubled. No peace, and therefore no vessel for divine blessing, plus the loss of whatever one is unwilling to concede as well. Yeah, let's see some real life examples. Meaning, he says, when you don't concede means you let go. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to stick to this point. Yeah, he says, when you let go and you don't try to prove the fact that you were right. Yeah, and you make peace by that. Number one, you're creating a vessel, which we say, what? In Birkat Kohanim, everything depends on the vessel which is called peace. When a person has peace, he'll get abundance from Hashem. All the shefa is going to come down. If you're not going to have the peace, then guess what? You lose that vessel which is called shalom, peace. It says, a man who's not willing to concede his honor for the sake of peace with his wife might succeed momentarily, but in the long term, he'll suffer greatly for it. His losses will outweigh his gains. Since it's impossible to have a peaceful relationship when a husband is fussy about his honor, once the peace is gone, he'll suffer greater humiliation than whatever his wife would have given him. It says the greatest humiliation is when others know that a man's home is a battleground. If he tries to blame his wife, people will nonetheless look at him pitifully. Who is he trying to humiliate? The mother of his children and the foundation of his home? She's the woman he pledged to honor, to love, to care for. Why is he destroying his own home for his conceived honor? You hear? He says, who are you trying to degrade? This is the mother of your kids. This is the wife. Yeah? It's interesting that I went on this cruise. Over there, Baruch Hashem, we always say captain, captain. Finally, they interviewed the captain. Yeah, they called the captain. Yeah. And they interviewed the captain, and from here you mamash understand what it means to be a man, to be a captain of the house. Why? He was saying the whole ship, every single aspect of the ship depends on him. Here, he says, before I became a captain, I had to go through all the departments, through the cleaning department, through the kitchen department, through the well, everything. He says, I don't really man the ship. He goes, I don't man the ship. I have my second captain, I have the junior captain, I have the whatever. Yeah. He says, my job is not to man the ship. He says, I'm responsible for everything, every part of the ship. You hear? Which over here he's saying, yeah, we always said what? Many men. What am I? Why should it be all my? Imagine this captain of the ship says, why should I be responsible for the fact that this guy got sick? Yeah? Why should I be responsible that these rooms are terrible? Because you're the captain. I saw meetings every single day. Every single day. I was like, wow. But you know what? Everything is run Boy, it's unbelievable. This ship was so clean. I was trying to look for a dirty spot. Even outside, you know where you have the ship? Not one dust. Not one dust. I'm shocked. I'm like, how is that? When do they clean all of this stuff? Everything is
When you sleep.
how they say ship top ship. How do they say? Tip top ship. I'm telling you, I didn't see one little tip ship. Mamish. So this is what he's trying to tell you. He's trying. You are the commander of the ship. Your house is a miniature ship, and therefore, who's the master? Who's the main captain of the ship? You are. So every single detail that's not good, guess what? Imagine he blaming the head of the household department, blaming the chef, blaming the this. Yeah, it's not my fault, it's him. No, because you didn't train him the way you're supposed to, right? He's doing what he's doing. So therefore, whose fault it is? Your fault. Yeah. So because you're not caring for your wife, for the kids, for the household, the way you're supposed to, guess what? Everything is the way it is because of you. So therefore, many people say, well, I don't know. Okay. If you don't know, then that's a very good start. Why? We can start teaching you. Yeah. But to put the blame on the other part, it's mamish, it's ridiculous. It says the greatest humiliation is when others know that a man's home is a battleground. If he tries to blame his wife, people will nonetheless look at him pitifully. You hear? He says, who is trying to humiliate the mother of his children? One can't hide a lack of peace in a home. Eventually, the wife will break down and confide in one of her friends or in her mother. The neighbor will hear about it or will just see the miserable couple's faces. Not only will people look down at the husband, but his wife and children will lose respect for him. Since he is responsible for this shameful situation, he is a source of embarrassment to them. Imagine the ship is terrible. Who they're going to blame? They're going to blame the captain. They're not going to blame it, They're going to say, but here, imagine, not one, I am telling you, ship is humongous. 5,300 people were in the ship. What?
The name of the company.
No, I understand. But guess who the company is going to blame? The captain is going to be fired.
Yeah.
This captain is no longer going to be captain. It's not going to be all the other ones. You hear? So to see the ship in such beautiful shape, guess who you honor? You honor the captain. You say, wow, this guy knows how to handle the ship. You understand? He says, by forfeiting peace with his wife to preserve his honor, he ends up disgracing himself and his family beyond his worst nightmares. He becomes a living example of what our sages say, that whoever chases honor eludes him. You hear? He stands by his gaudiness. He's gardan tachte. Yeah? He wants to prove that he's right. And what does he do? Causes major shalom bayit problems. And therefore, because he has shalom bayit problems, he disgraces himself. Why? Because people are going to say, Anna, look at him. He's got such a wife, such kids, and the whole house is in shambles. You understand? Because eventually says people are going to know about his situation. Yeah? He says when a man places peace before anything else, including his own honor, then although he may lose face occasionally in short term, in the long term he merits true honor, peace in his home. Everyone respects a person with self-control who concedes to others for the sake of peace. The Gemara praises such a person, who are shamed but do not shame, who hear their disgrace and do not respond. About them it says, and his beloved ones are like the sun coming out in the strength. Talmud Shabbat says this. Yeah? Meaning, a person thinks when he holds his ground and he's a man, yeah? When he doesn't concede to his wife because he wants to show her that he's right, yeah? In actuality, he's shaming himself. Why? Because people are going to look at him, this guy's devone. Mamish devone. What are you doing? What are you doing? But anyone who's going to look like a trapka, right? He doesn't quarrel with his wife. He says, okay, Junikman, no problem. Okay. And he diffuses the situation. He makes everything wise. And then when they see that it's a peaceful home, what are they going to say? This guy really knows how to control the situation, right? Anybody can blow up. The easiest thing is to blow up, right? The easiest thing is to blow up. The hardest thing is to contain yourself. And that's, we have to master that we have to contain ourselves in situations where we know that it's gonna right now blow up. We have to maintain the peace. Says, When a man places peace before anything else, including his own honor, we read that. It says we are taught that he who is honorable is the one who honors others. The Torah is not impressed by someone whom others honor, but only by someone who honors other people. Such a person is truly honorable. His wife and children will respect him, and they see in him the calming image of a man with good character traits and inner strength. These qualities give him an aura of authority and royalty. Imagine how many people honor a guy who's crazy, who's like a anarch, right, in his house. Nobody honors him. You think they listen to him. Why? Because they're afraid he's going to hit him. But they're scared of him. But they don't honor him. You hear? There's no honor there at all. Who they honor? The man he's quiet. He has composure. He sees the kids are doing something wrong. He talks to them calmly. They honor him. Why? Because they say, wow, our dad, he sees that we're doing wrong, and yet he gives us retribution in a very calm way. Him they will honor. But a maniac who starts screaming, no. They are looking for the unique opportunity to bash him. Why? Because he's a maniac. He's not. Same thing with the wife. Yeah, when she sees her husband going out of control and screaming, she's afraid of herself. And she doesn't honor him. Who do they honor? A person who keeps his composure, who doesn't scream like a crazy man, you understand? Who doesn't seek honor, who lets go of his, sometimes he lets go. He doesn't stick to the point to try to prove his point that he's right. He says, a person who is willing to forego his own honor for the sake of peace eventually gains both peace and honor. Whoever flees from honor pursues him. Yeah? He says, when a man is exacting about every penny that his wife spends and quarrels with her whenever he feels she spent unnecessarily, he'll say goodbye to both Shalom Bayit and his income. Without peace, the household income is negatively affected. Yeah, many people, unfortunately, they want how much did you spend? Okay, and where is this $2? How come you spend this $15 on the credit card? He's exacting on her. Yeah, he doesn't understand that he has to let her do whatever she has to do. You hear? And by him allowing her to be free, he says over here that he will not be negatively affected. Someone that moans about a few pennies could ultimately lose thousands. If a husband will realize that blessing of peace relationship invokes, he wouldn't ruin his marital peace for any amount of money in the world, and certainly not for a few pennies. When a man is easygoing about his wife's spending and doesn't comment or complain, even when he sees that she could have saved money here or there, he will have a constant influx of blessing and will lack nothing. Our sages say, honor your wives in order to become rich. By being flexible in money matters for the sake of peace, a husband attains both peace and more money. By virtue of peace's blessing, he'll succeed in everything he does. Now remember, we said that a lot of times the woman spends like crazy. Is why? Because she's not getting enough attention. And therefore, she actually wants to tick him off. You hear? But when he's giving her the attention and when he's giving her the full, as we say, filling her up with the emotional necessities that she needs, she's not going to go out shopping. Why? She doesn't need that. She gets the emotional connection with her husband. He says, a mother has had a trying afternoon with her rowdy children. They were rude to her, wild and disobedient. By the time her husband comes home, she's lost her composure. She's shouting at them, calling them names, and waving and threatening palms at the most insolent one. Her husband, who hasn't had to deal with them all day long, is horrified. He runs up and grabs her hand before she has a chance to bring it down on the son. What's the matter with you? He says. Calm down, for goodness sake. What crimes have they committed? There's a showdown with merciful daddy and the kids on one side and mommy the wicked on the other side. It seems that mommy loses it, but in reality, everyone has lost. Meaning, what is he saying over here? A lot of times we men don't know what's going on in the house, right? We see our children only half an hour, 40 minutes of the day here and there, right? What? Don't get involved, you're saying. Meanwhile, they're getting on our nerves all day. We come home 7 o'clock. She's like, like this. And all of a sudden he comes in, think, hey, what are you doing? Why are you hitting the child? He doesn't know. This child's been getting on her nerves for the past, how many hours. Yeah, she's been telling him nicely, please calm down. Papa's gonna come right now. Relax. Let's get all the toys together. And they were rowdying around. He comes at the moment when she's doing one of these, yeah? And he's thinking that she's the owner. It says, the husband understandably wanted to protect his children, but this shouldn't have been at the expense of his wife. Why not pity her? Maybe the kids were really insufferable and had pushed her too far. Even if she has an uncontrollable temper, he should be compassionate with her and try his best to help with it. But more so, in his attempt to protect his children from their mother's anger, he actually causes them far more damage than her anger ever would have. She may have called them names or even smacked them, but by siding with them, he ruins the peace in his home. The turbulent and unhappy home that he's now left with does more damage to the children's emotional health than anything else. It says over here, yeah, a lot of times we don't see what's going on throughout the day. Yeah, all we see is little spurts of moments when she gets angry with them. He says, if you're now going to side with the kids, you're going to create tremendous shalom bayit problems with her. Because she's going to say to herself, what? He favors the kids more than me.
The same thing when the father talks to the kids and she's getting involved. It's the same thing.
Absolutely, yes. You're absolutely right. He says, a husband that shows restraint and doesn't correct or challenge his wife in her moments of anger with the children gains on many levels. He says, when she's doing whatever she's doing, keep your mouth shut. Don't get involved. First, he preserves the peace with his wife. When children grow up in a home where there is peace and love, where they see and feel mommy and daddy are inseparable entity, they derive a love of life and tremendous inner strength to cope with whatever difficulties they may face. A peaceful home is a basis to build on for their future married lives and the greater guarantee of emotional healthy children. With peace in the home, even a mother's greatest mistake in raising the children won't hurt them at all. Here, he's saying when there's peace between a husband and wife, even if she's been bad to them, this peace that they have and they see this peace between them will make them good. However, if there is no peace between the husband and wife, he says they will be emotionally drained. They will not be able to function normally in their future homes. Yeah? On the other hand, when children grow up in homes where there is no peace between their parents, they develop emotional problems. They have difficulty in coping with life and are likely to fail miserably in their own marriages. So when a merciful quote-unquote father protects his children from their mother's rage at the expense of his peace with her, he actually damages them far more than he protects them. Destroying the peace in his home is like taking a sledgehammer to their souls. Yeah? He says when he protects them, a lot of times we think that she's not acting properly with them, right? Because she may be saying bad things to them or whatever. Yeah, we want to come and protect them. He says, don't do that. You're actually damaging them more than you're protecting them. Why? Because you're showing them machloket between you and her. She's not going to like the fact that you're protecting them and you're going against her. She always wants to be the one that's number one in his eyes. And therefore, anytime we show favoritism to the kids, we damage our relationship with the wife. Secondly, by supporting her rather than criticizing, a husband gains his wife's trust and calms her down. She regains her composure and joy, regrets her behavior, and soon makes amends with the children. Children are not that deeply affected by their mother's anger because they innately know that she is emotional and acts on her feelings. They know she angers easily, but is also quick to appease them and then smothers them with love. This is in sharp contrast to the anger of a father, which affects them far more deeply. Here, he says, children by nature know that the mother acts emotional. Yeah, so right now, this moment she's angry, the next moment she'll be like, oh, calm kids, let's this, or whatever. So they're not going to get upset when she's sick, when she screams. When the father screams, ooh, they're very, very careful. He says, but when a husband comments to his wife about her behavior with the children, she feels deeply insulted. Why doesn't he understand her and stands by her side? And if her husband and children join together against her, she has no motivation to improve her behavior. On the contrary, she gets even angry with the children, since she blames them for her being insulted by her husband and for causing strife in her home. Here, He says by taking sides against her, he now makes everything the opposite. She will become even a worse mother and a worse wife. From a purely practical point of view, the only way to successfully deal with any problems that arise is in the way of peace. Where there is love and peace, there is divine assistance and peace of mind, and one can deal effectively with the problem. By putting peace with his wife as his number one priority, a man merits divine assistance and inner tranquility. Hashem will help him to understand the root of problems that arise and show him the way to correct them. But if a husband is willing to give up his peace to protect his children, or for any other reason, he will never solve the problems that arise because Hashem will not be with him and his own mind will be unsettled and confused. Do you hear what he says? He says if a person is peaceful with his wife, Hashem will give him the understanding of what he needs to fix. But if he will not, he says he will never be able to fix the problem. Hashem is not going to give him that da'at in order to be able to understand what's going on. He says, how great is peace? No matter how difficult the problem, one's first priority should be solidifying the peace with his wife. Hashem will then dwell in his home. He and his wife will merit divine assistance, enabling them to overcome all difficulties and solve all problems in a peaceful, loving, and effective way. Yeah? He says that the most important thing should be peace with you and your wife. Yeah? What she does with the kids and so on and so forth, he says don't go against that. Leave that alone. Maintain the peace with her. He says, another very common and trying situation is where a wife has complaints against her mother-in-law and tells her husband about all of them. Here too, the husband must remember that the most important thing for him is to keep the peace with his wife. Although it's painful for him to hear her talk negatively about his parents, he must overcome the pain and agree with her. He should give her the feeling that he understands her and stands by her side. One of the most difficult things to do. Why? Because now it's an attack on our parents. And imagine, we who grew up as all the Bukharians with the whole mother and father, you only have one wife. You can change. Here, this concept, we have to get rid of this concept. Root canal, absolutely. He says you have to make it hurts. He says, yes, it hurts when she talks about, the fact that your mother said this, the fact that your mother looked like that.
But when he's saying that she's right,
Yeah.
right? I don't think it's correct.
Why?
You can quiet and not say nothing,
Oh.
but not agree with
No,
her.
he didn't say agree with her. What he's saying? No. He's saying like this. Agree with the fact that she feels this way.
Right.
At the end of the day, if she feels this way, it means there's something there.
No.
Yes.
She's
Again, Mulo Cohen.
You cannot cancel somebody else's feelings.
Yes.
She has a feeling, I understand, but to agree that she that it's better
Again,
good,
you're not look. You're not agreeing that your mother's bad. No, you're agreeing with the fact that she feels this way.
right, no,
I understand.
that's what it's understood.
I understand, Motek. I understand.
To say that you agree with her, like you think that your parents is no good.
He did not say it. He says, look. He says, although it's painful for him to hear her talk negatively about her parents, he must overcome the pain and agree with her the fact that she's feeling this way.
Even agree, the Rav said.
What?
Even to agree.
That what? That the mom is bad? Okay. What are you going to do? Yeah? Her says he should give her the feeling.
Like a mother of the child, right? You're the child of the mother, right? You know your mother when she's angry, not angry with you, she was always good, right?
Yeah, so
Now, but she not feel good with her. But what's to do with him to say that his mother is no good?
so now
Agree,
you have to
I
sit
agree with her
down.
that my mother no good.
Okay,
How I can say that?
That's not what he said.
that's not what we say. First of all, you have to sit down and start to think. With your mother, you cannot bring children.
Right.
With your mother, you cannot build a family. You cannot.
It's right.
So now, automatically, she is number 2 or 3 on the list. You see, we are also parents. We have to leave the kids alone. The Bukharim don't know how to do it. They don't know.
That's a problem, big problem.
They don't know what does it mean to leave a child. All the time, don't forget.
Don't forget how much we invested in you.
Когда-то твоя мать была тоже девушкой, правильно?
And believe me, she also thought this way. So she has to understand. You're saying right. One time your mother was also a young girl, right? Married to a man. 1 second. You know what? She felt exactly the same way. You know what I saw?
That you have only the child, or you
No, no,
another
no.
wife,
You know what I'm
another
saying.
mother.
You know what I'm seeing over here. It's one thing when you hear something from your mom. Why? You were born with her. She was your. But it's another thing when you say the same thing to me that you say to my wife. It's a completely different thing. It's a completely. So look.
No,
Melo Cohen.
I saw something. I saw it a few times already. When you say to your wife, my mother, I'm telling you, she's crazy. I don't know how my father, how did he live with her, I don't know. So she will start to feel bad for you. And she will make sure that you and her, Pitom, she will tell you, she's the mother, it's okay. You have to do something in reverse psychology.
Opposite psychology.
Reverse.
Opposite
I saw it already a few times. Already.
Yeah. No, but if you start protecting her, no, my mother's not bad. It's you. That's. Look what he says. He says he should give her the feeling that he understands her. You see, he should give her the feeling that he understands her. He doesn't say, say your mother's wrong. No, he should give her the feeling that he understands her and stands by her side. I'm by you. I'm by you. You're right.
It's not about to say against her to your wife.
Yeah.
Don't say that. But when you say that she agree with her that your mother is bad, I don't think.
Again, he didn't say you should agree that your mother's bad. Give her the feeling that you agree with her feelings.
Yeah,
That's it.
She got hurt down the grief.
That's it. But don't start to say, no, yeah. But you know what? My mother brought me up, and she's the only mother that I have. And how could I go against her? But that's what we say. No, that's what we say. Melo Cohen. He says, this don't say to her. You just understand her. Yeah, I understand you. She's sometimes like that, whatever. But now what do you say? No, I understand you. But you know what? She's my mother. What do you want me to do? How should I? What, should I throw my mother out? This, then, so your mother, go marry your mother. What are you marrying me for? Go live with your mother. Here, he says, it may seem that he's compromising his parents' honor. Here, look, for the sake of peace with his wife. But this is not so. The greatest honor for his parents is their son's peaceful, successful home. His love and peace with his wife will make it easier to appease her and to bring back the peace between her and his parents. When she feels that her husband is firmly by her side, the things that upset her lose their sting. Yeah? You see, when she knows that you're by me, he's by my side, then okay, I'm not going to. But what she feels when you're protecting your parents, she feels it. Therefore, she's like, no, this guy is not with me. Yeah? If she still has complaints against her mother-in-law, she'll feel that it's not fair to fight with her husband, who is so good to her. She won't want to sacrifice such wonderful shalom bayit, so she'll find a way to reconcile herself with his parents. You hear? When she feels her husband is next to her, and he supports her, and he gives her, she's not going to be against the parents. She's not. Why? Why would I want to ruin my shalom bayit with him? But when she sees that he's protecting them, you know what she's going to do? Even worse. He's protecting. Now it's 3 against me. Okay, I'm going to show them. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is. You hear? And therefore he says, don't go. Be with her. Understand her. Like the Rav said. When he sees this, now she's like, I don't want to ruin my relationship. So she's going to find some kind of way to be nice with them. You understand? He says, if the husband puts his parents' honor before peace with his wife, he will lose both. Parents suffer greatly when their children fail in their relationships. The principal honor of one's parents is to avoid causing them sorrow and anguish. When parents learn that their son had a fight with his wife, they are saddened deeply. They get no consolation from the fact that the fight was for their honor. Sensible parents are happy to forego their honor if doing so will enable their son or daughter to live in peace with his or her spouse. He says normal parents who have a brain are, what do they usually want? They want peace between her husband, the son and the wife. They want peace between the daughter and the husband, right? That's what they want. So he says, if you understand that, and the most important thing is peace in your children's, marriage, leave them alone. Don't now say, hey, I'm your father, I'm your mother. What is this? You bring your wife or your husband before us. What's going on? He says that's not a sensible parent. Because what do we wish for? Shalom bayit for our kids, no? I want my daughter, my son to get married right now. Go be happy together. In order for that, pretend I'm not here. Pretend I don't exist. You understand? If that's going to make you happy, leave me alone. That's what he says. That's a sensible parent. But a non-sensible parent? Why? I don't understand. What is this? Why your wife doesn't want to come here? She doesn't want to come here. Maybe it's too small. Maybe it's too tight. Maybe it smells. Maybe they're old. Maybe this. Maybe that. A lot of things. You hear? We don't know what's bothering the individual. You understand? So therefore, last thing, a woman by nature is highly emotional. If she has sorrow from her mother-in-law, it's very hard for her to make a balanced and objective appraisal of the situation. The responsibility to keep the peace lies in her husband. Again, the captain, you hear? Says she's emotional. She doesn't know how to balance this. Says, who is able to see such situations with less emotionality. He must remember that the greatest honor for his parents is having a son with a tranquil marriage and a peaceful home. You hear? He goes, you know what? It's better that your parents are not going to be in the relationship, but understand, my son and my daughter-in-law have peace, I'm happy. Even though they don't like the situation, but I'm happy that they have peace. He says that's because that's what they want. And ultimately, that's what a parent wants. You hear? And therefore, he says it's the husband's responsibility to maintain the peace between them.
Oh, so what is he saying? You have a problem with my mother? Deal with it. What do you want from me? The captain is saying, I'm out.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
what do you mean?
Mom is like that.
How we gonna deal with
Person
Don't
has
get me involved. Don't get me involved.
person has a heart attack. Yeah, person has a heart attack in the ship. I'm not, my thing's the ship. I don't know about that thing. I'm driving. And in fact, he spoke about it. He said there was a situation one time where there was somebody got sick, and he goes, "What do you want me to ask? What should I do?" He goes, "No, I called the Coast Guard and we tried to make this and we got this and they came with the helicopter and He goes, "Every little thing, it's on my shoulders." He says, and therefore.
If the captain gets sick.
And therefore, so there's a second man. Yeah, he's the captain, like the vice president. Yeah. So therefore, in order for a captain to be a captain, he says 20 years we went through a circle of different situations. 20 years. He goes, it's not simple to be a captain in 2-3 years. No way. He goes, you go from rank up to rank, up to rank, up to rank, up to rank. Yeah. And over here, what happens? 21-year-old kid marries, never saw any situation, comes with a different with a woman who has a whole bunch of emotional whatever, yeah, mother-in-law, father-in-law, and then this little kid yesterday they showed me a picture, somebody got married, he looks like he was 15 years old. I was like, how is he getting married? Okay, go ahead, EB. No scenarios, no nothing. It's crazy. It's mamish. If you understand it, it's crazy.
Told me, see, and they bring a captain 20 years old.
That's it. Oh, it's crazy. That's mamish. That's mamish. That's crazy. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.